Happy Tuesday, and thank you for watching another live edition of the East West Football Podcast. I am Fidel Barraza. Along with me, like always, Jer Martinez, Kendall Woodley. What's going on, guys?
Man,
Hey,
these weeks are passing us by pretty quick in the NFL, huh?
so we were just at week one. Now look where we are. Like these teams, a lot of teams are playing good, a lot of parity in the league, a lot of close games, and teams are playing good, and we're speeding through the season already.
Yeah, and quite a bit of upsets, I guess you can say, in Week 6. But what stood out to you guys the most? Start with Jerry.
Man, I mean, right now, who's to think that the NFC East is going to be the best division in the entire NFC, right? And we're just talking about NFC in general. I mean, we can look at it. The Eagles are 6-0. You know, I really don't want to go beyond the Eagles being 6-0, but the actual entire East, right? The NFC East, the actual division they have more wins at one point NFC West was the dominant, but you got a bunch of you got 2, 3, and 3 teams and 2, 2, and 3 teams. And I mean right now at this current moment, the AFC, who's to think the AFC North is stuck in the mud, man? You got a bunch of 3-3 teams also, and 2-3 teams in the AFC North. So, I mean, right now that's kind of what's standing out to me in general. Looking at Week 6, now that we're starting to see each team take form and shape into the season.
I'm gonna go with the New York teams, the New York Jets and the New York Football Giants. Both teams are playing some really good ball with some great performances on some good teams. We think during the season, well, heading into the season, we thought the Ravens and Green Bay would be pretty good, even though they had a lot of losses this offseason. But I think the Jets are playing some good ball. Who saw that coming? And that tough division they're in the AFC East along with my Patriots. And with the Giants and whatnot, they're playing some good ball. I mean, Lamar Jackson, not a good game this past week, but the Giants picked up on the turnover. Saquon Barkley doing his thing. Daniel Jones, we got to give him his flowers. He's been playing some good ball over the last few weeks as a runner too, not just a passer, but as a runner. And that defense, Kayvon to the boats. I hope I said that right. But they're playing some good ball. Both New York teams, and they've been going down for a while, but they're playing some good ball. Both teams.
Yeah, I mean, what stood out to me the most, I mean, obviously New York Football Giants. I mean, I said that Brian Dable was going to have the huge impact on this team, and Daniel Jones was going to be playing some good football, and that's what he's doing right now. And who would have thought 5-1 New York Football Giants?
Yeah, I can you hear me first off? All
We
right.
can hear you.
All right, great. I didn't know. I thought it was being sound check. I mean, overall, I will say this. I think me and Kendall were saying, hey, the NFC East, I think they're going to be a division to reckon with. But we were seeing this maybe next season and the offseason. We weren't expecting the Giants to have a resurgence like this fast. So yeah, obviously Brian Dable and his coordinators, right? Wink Martindale, who was with the Ravens, which obviously this is the team that he was coaching with for the longest. For him to come in, and revamp that Giants defense, like you said, Kevin Thibodeau coming away with that clutch strip sack right at the end to seal the deal. But hey, Saquon's looking good. Obviously, we know who's going to be the if he keeps it on this pace, we know who's going to be the comeback player of the year in Saquon. But man, you know, when you look at it, it was just a really good fight overall.
Yeah, and the other thing too that stood out to me, the Green Bay Packers. Look, I thought they were going to have a great bounce back win against the New York Football Jets. That's not what happened. Obviously, the Packers lost to the Jets at home in Lambeau. And look, Sauce Gardner, he looks like the real deal out there, man. He looks really good.
He looks real good. I mean, he actually put on a clinic that game. Couple pass deflection. He had a pick six called back. That was a weird play, but he's playing some good ball. And they're all their draft picks are. And what about Quentin Williams? He's been quiet the past couple years, but he's getting at the quarterback, playing some good ball. Robert Saleh got that team, got that defense, and that team playing good.
Yeah, and then Jerry, I believe you do have some audio for us on Aaron Rodgers, a very frustrated Aaron Rodgers after the game.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a listen to that audio.
You wanted to do. How do you view how your offense is playing right now?
Very inconsistent. And that's why I think we need to simplify things, because on the couple drives we didn't move the ball. It was very simple things, very simple plays. no motion. So we need to look at everything and the guys that we got and what we can accomplish with them, and let's be smart about moving forward. Nobody works harder than Matt on the plan each week, and nobody comes with better ideas than him and his staff. But if it's not working, it's not because those guys aren't grinding. It's because we're not executing. And if we think we have the right players, then we need to simplify things.
Interesting.
Yeah, two things that stand out to me. One of them, it seems like he's throwing the the head coach and the coaching staff under the bus, and then he takes them out to save him, right? The other thing too is he says simplify the offense. What do you mean by that?
I mean,
For him, for the players, I mean, like, what's he talking about?
I don't know, man. Because when I look back at that game, I'll tell you this: they went for it on like 4th and 13. The other one was like 4th and 7. So I mean, these are like questionable calls right here. I mean, yeah, I would understand 4th and 3. You know, I understand that that's maybe a better time to go for it. But when you're going for it like a 4th and I think it was 13 or 17, I'm not too sure. I gotta go back to my notes on that one. But I mean, they were able to break some big plays off, but they just were not able to come away with the touchdowns, you know. And there's only so much that field goals can get you, you know what I mean? So that when you're going to field goals, that means the defenses are doing their job on both ends.
I think, I mean, you made a really good point there, Jared. But I think, I mean, yeah, we know Aaron Rodgers is a great. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a great quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the league. But we gotta get that Jets defensive credit too. They played some good ball. That I think the Jets they deserve a lot of credit. But Green Bay haven't looked like Green Bay all year. So I mean, they really haven't. I think it's more than just Devontae Adams being gone. But I think they really haven't. I mean, Adam Lazard probably their best receiver now. The Randall Cobb's gonna be out for about a few weeks. So I mean, they really have. I do like Romeo Dobbs or whatnot, but there's been some rumors out there they might look to trade or be in on the bidding on a couple of these wide receivers out here, but they just haven't looked right all year.
Yeah, and then didn't Jair Alexander say a couple weeks ago when they lost to the Giants, like, hey, if they lost to the Jets, it wasn't a big deal. And then Aaron Rodgers kind of came back out and said, like, no, we're focusing on winning football games, not losing any.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, obviously, you know, this was a good matchup, right? Because we're talking about the offensive coordinator for the Jets is the brother of the head coach of the Packers in this case. So, you know, I don't know exactly. I think the only thing that's kind of different is that Aaron Jones had that running game going. They had the running game going with Aaron Jones, and we're not really seeing that right now. And you're seeing kind of Aaron Rodgers having to do. It looks like he's trying to play hero ball on every down almost now.
Yeah. So I mean, how does Green Bay get things turned around?
Get back to running the ball. They need to start focusing on running the ball, and maybe perhaps make a heavy push for maybe an Odell Beckham Jr. or looking to getting a trade for a wide receiver that you can, you know, that Aaron Rodgers may trust.
Yeah, and the Minnesota Vikings have a 2-game lead now in the division.
I agree with Jared there. Yeah, they got to get better running that football, and because if not, this division can get out of control quick.
They're 5-1, I believe, right? The Vikings.
Yeah, 5-1.
Yeah.
Packers 3-3. Let me ask you guys a question real quick, and we'll move on. If you guys had your choice on a receiver to trade for, who would it be and why?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore would be a good pick, but I don't think Green Bay will do that. I could see them trade him maybe like a Kendrick Bourne. I know we talked about Chase Claypool or somebody like that, or wait for Odell Beckham, but Odell probably won't be ready to about Thanksgiving. They need something before Turkey Day get here. They need something now. So yeah, I'd have called the Patriots for Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, or maybe like a Chase Claypool or something like that. That's what I would do.
The reason you just want to get them off your team, bro.
Don't forget about Denzel Milne for the Jets.
The only reason I say DJ Moore is because of his body. I mean, overall, he kind of has that. I mean, even in college in Maryland, DJ Moore played like Deebo Samuels. You know what I mean? So I think if anything, we've seen what the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan can do. And that's actually where LaFleur comes from. He comes from that coaching lineage. He would know how to get the running game going and how to set DJ Moore up in these screenplays, which is what they tried doing with Christian Watson. But Christian Watson has not been able to stay healthy and on the field as often. Although Walton has a very unique framey type of build to him. He's really lanky. He's a speedster, but I think if anything, I think DJ Moore, if you can kind of bring him back to what he was doing at Maryland, I think that he'd fit right in. He'd probably be the next Debo for you there with the Packers scheme.
I think Robbie Anderson would have been a good fit in Green Bay too. I know he just got traded to the Cardinals, but I think that would have been a perfect fit from there in Green Bay. Kind of similar to like Christian Watt. They're probably the same player, but you get a more experienced player in Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I think Chase Claypool, I mean, that's a name that's kind of been out there that apparently the Pittsburgh Steelers have been looking at trade even in the preseason. And now with the injury with Randall Cobb, the Packers are probably going to have to make a move here soon. Kendall, what stood out to you in week 6?
I mean, like I said about the two New York teams, the Jets and the Giants, but we're going to stay in that AFC East division. We're going to go with the Patriots. Bill Belichick, me and Jerry, we've talked for a couple weeks now, the draft picks. He's hit on all. I mean, it's rare that you see a coach, somebody hit on all the draft picks. Where all your draft picks are playing meaningful minutes, that can mean a couple of things. Either you don't have a lot of good players or you just got too many good players. Like the young guys are playing some good ball for the Patriots. Tyquan Thornton made his second game. His debut was against the Lions last week. But you could just see the excitement is definitely his team. I'm excited for the future. But the Patriots, I know it's the Browns. I know they beat the Lions, but it's the way they did it. It's the way they did it. You know what I mean? You shut out the Detroit Lions, no one scoring offense. The Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb, he was turning up the lead. He was leading the league in rushing. We held him to under 70 yards. So like we're doing good, and I'm proud of the New England. The Patriots are playing some good ball right now.
Yeah, I think you guys got the Browns. I don't know how many turnovers was that. I mean, how many interceptions that Jacoby Brissett?
It was 2 interceptions. It was a clinic out there.
It was. So
who's a backup to Jacoby Brissett?
Kevin Hope.
They used to have the guy from the Steelers. I can't think of his name right. He played quarterback at Tennessee though.
Oh, Joshua Dobbs.
Yes, yeah, I think.
Well, I mean, whoever the backup quarterback is, I mean, look, they've lost 2 straight. Do you guys think that they should possibly look at starting the other quarterback?
No way, because Jacoby Brissett, he's there to Deshaun. There's no way. Just stick it out with Brissett. We know what Brissett is, and he's not Deshaun Watson, but just stick it out. You're going to win or lose with Jacoby Brissett. But speaking of quarterbacks, what about Bailey Zappi? He played a good game. He's doing. I mean, and they might be like a little small quarterback controversy spiraling there in New England. I didn't say. I've been hearing a lot about it, but hey, I mean, have y'all guys caught Zappy fever lately? Because
look, I like Bailey Zappi coming in out of Western Kentucky, and I think I told you. But look, I think it's too the play calling as well as much as a quarterback. Same thing with Cooper Rush in Dallas. I mean, essentially the game plan that they were calling, they were executing it. They weren't asking them to do too much. You know what I mean? So consistent and whatnot, not turning over the football, and that's what you have right now in Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, and then he's not turning the ball over, and it's the competition. We're not playing. Patriots not playing nobody. Let's see you do that against Buffalo, Kansas City, the Baltimores of the world.
Hey, but look,
who's on your schedule though?
But the Browns, I mean, that's not a bad defense. They got some players.
It took them a while. It took them a while to come away with some stops, but I mean, overall, I will say this: the Patriots, they that play calling has really improved on the offensive side. Zappi was just, I mean, he got everybody. He got Devontae Parker involved, Tyquan Thornton. I love the way they used them. I mean, not only in the passing, but they got him on.
There was a Jonnu Smith sighting.
Yeah,
there was.
And Hunter Henry. I mean, he was just feeding that ball around to all the playmakers. So, obviously the play calling, it really does help out a lot.
A good mix of pass and run on in the offense.
We're gonna take it day by day.
And you guys, I mean, look, I don't want to say easy game, but it's a very winnable game this Monday next Monday against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about that game is I'm glad we're not playing on Sunday because I won't be in town Sunday. I actually be at the Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, so I get to come back and watch my Patriots play on Monday night. So I won't be missing that. I won't be missing much at all anyway, because that should be a winnable game. But yeah, it works out.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the game of the day between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone was expecting a high-scoring affair. We saw a lot of great defense. Towards the end of the game, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were able to pull out the W with the Dawson Knox touchdown.
Well, I will say this. I think if anything, we can just go ahead and put everything to sleep here, right? Or we can kind of round everything off and just show the importance of the quarterback and his play. Because I will tell you this, Josh Allen really stepped up when the Bills needed him to. I mean it was at the very end it was the design quarterback keeper that he had on that sweep to the right. Wow. I mean they needed that first down. I mean they needed it. They were down, I believe, at that particular moment. And big players make big plays when needed. So it just shows you the importance of your quarterback play. And I think that the NFL is you are just as effective as your quarterback play is in the NFL. So if your quarterback is not able to step up, your team's gonna struggle, and it's gonna be hard to get them wins.
I mean, have y'all noticed how easy it just looks for the Bills at times? It just looks so easy. Like I think it was like 3rd and 15. It was in their own red end zone and whatnot. And it just looks so easy. It seemed like for other teams, it seemed like it's pulling teeth getting them to move the ball. But for the Buffalo, it just looks so easy. Like they just pick up 3rd and long. I mean, most times you get teams in like 3rd and 7 and longer. You would think you got a good chance to get off the field, but with Buffalo, like it just looks so methodical, just so easy. And they can beat you. They can beat you, slice and dice you, and just paper cut, or they can beat you with the long ball. They don't have a running game, but they just move the ball. Just imagine if you gave them a running game, but Josh Allen is their running game.
What a difference Von Miller has made for this defense. Huge difference. And then also, too, let's talk about Jordan Poyer real quick. He did not get clear to fly with the team. So guess what he did? He ended up driving to the game 14 hours. And he played a good game. Incredible. And obviously, this game meant a lot to both teams because the last couple times these teams have met in the playoffs, Kansas City has hosted the game. Essentially, this might be, it might go to Buffalo's now.
And it seems like all these games are always in Kansas City.
Yeah, and then guess what? If they end up with the same record because of this game that just happened, the game will be in Buffalo.
I think if anything, that's just home field advantage because who wants to be playing in Kansas City and in Buffalo during the most important time of the year, right? I mean, it's cold.
Yeah, but not even that. The ravished fans. I mean, think about it. This team has eliminated you from the playoffs 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
If you get to host that home game, divisional game, or AFC championship game, man, forget about it. They're going to be breaking tables on the field.
I think we all can agree in the AFC, it's the Buffalo Bills, then it's everybody else. I think we all can agree on that. I mean, Kansas City is right up under them, but it's the Bills, and then it's everybody else.
And really quick, and look, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but essentially it's like Carolina's looking to trade some players away. There was a rumor out last week that potentially Buffalo was looking to possibly trade for Christian McCaffrey. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if there's any, relevance to it, but imagine if they were to trade for Christian McCaffrey. This offense would, it looks pretty damn good now, but man, it would be even better with Christian McCaffrey in that backfield.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, that would be pretty nice. I think if anything, Christian McCaffrey, if he can't get going with the rushing attack, I mean, with him, you just get him on the passing, and man, game over. I think that would be definitely that. I think he would be definitely that final piece that the Buffalo Bills is needed to be able for everybody to be on board and have that confidence that they're going to be in the Super Bowl and win their Super Bowl. I mean, this is a team that went to how many Super Bowls? I think it was in the early 90s. Was it 4 or 5?
Like 4, I think. Yeah, 3 or 4 in a row.
I know they lost. Okay, I'm not gonna go where they lost because my team lost this week. No, my team lost this week. So, yeah, we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, so look, Buffalo looks like the best team in the NFL and for sure the best team in the AFC. So we'll see if they keep it up. I believe they're on a bye week this week coming up. Let's talk about some Thursday night football action. These last couple of weeks, man, it's been a struggle to keep my eyes open watching these games. But we do have a more interesting matchup this week, I believe, as the New Orleans Saints visit the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams struggling. Both teams need a win in a bad way. Now, question marks for New Orleans as far as the quarterback situation goes. So Andy Dalton might not play. Jameis Winston, I think, is not ready to come back. So you have Taysom Hill potentially starting at quarterback.
Taysom Hill, and I think Ian Book. Do you have Ian? Is Ian Book still in there doing?
I think I'd rather go with Taysom Hill, man.
Yeah, because that was a disaster last time we seen Ian Book on Monday Night Football. He looked like he was nowhere near ready to touch a football that game. And I think to save us fans from watching that debacle, it would be great not even have him on the field or whatnot. But I think I'd rather go with Taysom Hill single-handedly won in that game against Seattle a couple weeks ago. So I'd probably go with Taysom Hill. But I think it's a better matchup in the last couple of weeks than watching the Bears and the Commanders. And I think it was Denver and the Colts the week before that. But they got to get better with these games. But I'm going to go with Arizona. I believe the Cardinals home, Arizona home, or they in the bye, or they in New Orleans?
Arizona's home.
Okay, I'm going to go with Arizona. I go with the Cardinals or whatnot. And, they do get DeAndre Hopkins back. So they should be better. I watched that game against Seattle. They just look a mess right now. D-Hop, maybe it's why maybe that's why Rodgers is struggling. He don't have Devontae Adams, but D-Hop is back this week. I think Arizona, maybe they can start to stack up a few W's. They got to win. It's a must win for the Cardinals this week.
Look, they're both 2-4.
Both teams.
Yeah, both teams are 2-4. I will say this. I think after a while, I think Cardinal fans are going to get a little bit, that Red Sea is going to be a little bit, they're going to start to get frustrated if this is the trend. Because, a lot of times when you're able to get to the game, all you see is Kyler Murray running 80 yards to score, to be able to get a 6-yard, first down, so that it almost seems somebody needs to fix what he's doing in his game, because his game is really good. Think of there to be able to, get him going on more and get a little bit more focus on the RPO, be able to read it. And I think that the Cardinals offense could really terrorize some teams with Kyler Murray's speed and agility and his stop and go ability. But, I think, it only comes to a point before defense can tee off on that and stop it. But for the Saints overall, they had this game. I mean, their Russian attack was what they had it going. So, if anything, I think it's going to be a relatively better game than what we think. Yeah, there's some question marks on the Saints defense, but go ahead and give me the Saints in this one. I trust the play calling right now for whatever reason. I think they're going to focus in on that Russian attack and be able to close out the game when they need to, make the plays when they need to.
Speaking of play calling, I believe Cliff Kingsbury said that he would give up play calling duties. He just wants to win. I mean, and potentially, I know he just got an extension recently, but man, things just don't look good. I do like Arizona playing at home, getting DeAndre Hopkins back, Robbie Anderson. We'll see how much he plays. But just New Orleans is banged up. I don't think Lattimore's going to play. I don't think Landry's going to play. They just have a lot of injuries.
Olave is back.
He's back.
Yeah. I think Thomas is probably still out. He's been a mess the last few years. He's always one thing after another with Michael Thomas. I think this might be his last year in New Orleans.
I think so too.
That's why I said what I said, because I mean, this last week, all those players were all their key players were out, and they were still able to make it close enough. I just think that Jamar Chase is a little bit of a special player, and his connection with Joe Burrow is just something a little bit different. So, overall, I'm gonna be the wild card this week. I don't know. I think that I've been playing it too safe on my predictions, so that's why I'm saying give me Saints in this one. I don't really like what the Cardinals are doing.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, the only good thing about the Saints, struggling right now is that the division is not very tough at the moment, right? Atlanta won their game. I believe that was the only team that won in that division last weekend. So we'll see how New Orleans does.
Nobody's run away with that division. Tampa got Carolina this week. I don't know who Atlanta plays this week. And the Saints got the Cardinals, but Falcons playing some sneaky good ball. Nobody run away with the division. Nobody.
Hey, look! Shout out to Arthur Smith. He's got this team playing, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you look, right, because 49ers have the second ranked defense in the league, and the Cowboys were ranked number 3. But exactly what the Falcons did to the 49ers, it's exactly what the Eagles did to the Cowboys. I mean, they were able to exploit it, right, with the RPO. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, he ain't afraid of reading the defensive end and running if he needs to. Marcus Mariota was doing that to the 49ers, and he was cutting up and dicing that defense on his own. And, he was taking some shots. He got the ball to Drake London, which is their first-round pick this year. And finally, we saw Kyle Pitts, score a touchdown. I think Was that his first touchdown?
in the U.S. this season, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he came out of the draft, we were talking about a unicorn, but yeah, I will say this, very, very unique how Arthur Smith was able to turn this game into an actual game for them to compete and win.
All right, we got Mike chiming in. It looks like the Falcons play the Bengals. Interesting game, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, before we end tonight's show, any final thoughts?
Well, surprising we went the whole show. We're not talking about the Cowboys and the Eagles. But that's very surprising to me. You thought I would let you off the hook, Jerry. I can't do it tonight, but that's shocking me. That's probably the first show ever. But I was wondering, like, did we talk about Dallas and Philly? But not to put your blast there, but I mean, hey, I guess rush hour 1, 2, or 3 could possibly be over with. I mean, I think Dak could be back this week against Detroit or whatnot, and Cooper Rush, he did what he's supposed to do. He's a backup, or like Shannon Sharp said, he's an intern. So he's a backup or whatnot, and he went 4-2. It could have been worse. Could have been a disaster. Dak is back, and next I think they got Detroit this week. Then I think they got Chicago, but yeah, I mean it couldn't have been better. Everybody thought they were done, but they won't. But I think with that defense, they still had a chance, and they proved. And can we get some holding calls on Michael Parker? Because he gets held on every daggone play. I noticed that too, but Philly came up to play. Enough to talk about that, but Philly played good, and Jalen Hurts, I mean, I won't say he shut people up, but he didn't even have 200 yards passing, but he did what he needed to do. He didn't need to do much, and Philly's the best team in the NFL right now, record-wise.
Yeah, I said this on the Sunday kickoff show that this was going to be the game where the people that were kind of thinking, all right, yeah, let's play Cooper Rush, forget about Dak, came back to reality and say, hey, we need Dak in there.
Yeah, I think that there was a name for them, Super Coopers, right? I believe that's what they were calling the Super.
Hey, Ben DiNucci had a better name though.
I'll
with DiNucci.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I mean, obviously, I believe that's what the Cowboys thought when they had Ben DiNucci was, hey, we have our defense, we're going to rely on them and our rushing attack, and we don't really need Ben DiNucci to pass. But for whatever happened, for whatever it was, that Ben DiNucci was long time ago. Cooper, though, I will say this, I'll give him a ton of credit. Like you said, he came in and he did his job, but obviously you could see some of those plays. He tried to play some hero ball. I mean, that one where he forced that pass because he saw CD open, but dang, that ball just stayed up in the air too long. He missed some reads. Aside from throwing it a couple of picks, he missed some reads. There were some reads there. He could have kept it, got an easy first down. So, yeah, man, I think, like I said earlier, the NFL is just predicated. It's so reliant on what your quarterback can do for you. And obviously, like you said, Fidel, I think you said it very well. Dak is back, and we know that Dak has prepared all 7 years of his career. He's prepared himself to be able to make these plays and be the franchise quarterback that they're paying him to be. So we shall see, hopefully with this balanced attack that the Cowboys have been able to implement, we'll see if Dak can be able to help us get over that hump, right? Because, if you want to get into the Super Bowl, you got to be able to stack up 30 points against the Buffalo Bills. And with Super Cooper, we weren't putting up that many. I believe we're ranked 29th in offense and scoring with Super Cooper. So yeah, it's a little bit of a relief to have Dak back, and it's going to be interesting. And just like Cowboys and myself and all Dallas Cowboys, nation, right? Or the rest of us, we're going to have to wait till Christmas to see if Santa will help us get that comeback and put the Eagles to rest, because they are nonstop in the back, man. They're nonstop in the back.
And that was one of the things I wanted to see was during this whole run that Cooper Rush had, even dating back last year against the Vikings, he's really had the lead. He's been up. He's been playing good ball, good turnover-free ball. Defense been playing outstanding. Like I told Jerry previously before show, and I want to see him get down 2 positions, get down 10-0, get down 14-0, and see if we can bring that team back. And we kind of seen what happened with it, whatnot. That was my only thing. If I could see him do that, okay, well, maybe he can start the rest of the year, and this guy might be the real deal. But we saw what happened when all of a sudden your defense can't help you out, and now we need you to bring us back or whatnot. And Cooper Rush came back to being Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and you know, credit where credit is due. Eagles had a good game plan. I mean, they were pinning us back in our own field. You know, back in our field. You know, they were able to. You know, they were going for it on their fourth downs. Obviously, they were taking the risk. You know, obviously, if we got the ball at our own 20, they knew that it was going to be harder for us. So at the very end, it just kind of came down to to those sticks and just putting us back in our own, you know, in our own field position, right? So, you know, good for them. They had a good attack, but I'm pretty sure Dan Quinn is very resilient, and I'm pretty sure he'll learn from this one. And going forward, any team that tries to attack the Cowboys defense like this, I'm pretty sure there'll be an answer for it too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Eagles look like the best team in the NFC right now. The good thing for the Cowboys is, well, one, Dak's coming back, and then two, you play the Detroit Lions on Sunday.
I think James Bradbury has been a really good pickup for the
Tremendous. Tremendous. And then real quick, look, my final thoughts. We saw a game last night that was not what people were expecting it to be. At one point, it looked like neither team wanted to win. Looks like perhaps they were going for a tie. And then we saw the muff punt. Look, Russell Wilson, I think, started off 10 for 10. And then in the second half, he threw, I don't know, I think it was 10 yards, maybe less than that.
I think he was 5 for 13 to finish the game, I believe.
That is just insane. And then Melvin Gordon being out. I don't even know what's going on with Melvin Gordon. They benched him. They were just playing Latavius Murray. They just signed him off the practice squad from the Saints. I mean, both teams. And then Brandon Staley, this is what kills me. Him going for it on fourth down consistently and not making it. That is just crazy, man.
Yeah. I think the stats there was Justin Herbert, 37 of 57 attempts. What in the world, man? There's no balance there, man. I mean,
yeah, I think Staley could be on the hot seat this year. And that defense hasn't played. I mean, even Russell Wilson last night when he was hot, he was nailing some throws down the field. I know he's dealing with a hamstring issue now, and I don't know. It's funny how every time he has a bad game, it's an injury. First it was a lat, now it's a hamstring. But I don't know, man.
I will say that was a heads up play by the special teams.
Yeah, it was. Because it pushed his own player into him.
Pushed his own player, or pushed that player into his own player, right? So that was a heads up play. But yeah, it was a weird game overall.
And then also too, real quick, I mean, I can see a scenario where both of these coaches will not be returning to their teams. And look, Nathaniel Hackett, you got to figure something out. You have to figure something out. There obviously reports coming out that Russell Wilson has a hurt hamstring. He's got the shoulder injury. Like, there's just a lot of things coming out right now. But you should have won this football game. You should have won the game.
What about JC Jackson getting benched for the Chargers? I mean, after all that money he earned from what and they paid for what he did in New England, but it hasn't been a good start to the season for JC Jackson. They gave him all that money. Now he's benched. I think he got benched for. I forgot. I don't know who the guy he got benched for, but and
that's even worse. We don't know his name. We don't know his name and who he got benched for. How much are you paying this guy? Ridiculous, man. And then also real quick, like before we get off, I know we've been kind of rambling on for a little bit longer than usual, but I can guarantee that Nathaniel Hackett will not make it through the season if the Broncos continue to struggle.
Oof, man. I don't know what the heck he's doing, man.
I don't. And look, and that's a shame because that defense was playing lights out and they keep on getting injuries.
It doesn't get I think they got the Jets next and the Jets playing some good ball.
Mm-hmm.
So
who is the Eagles streak? I would say the Steelers.
To be determined.
I say the Steelers.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Eagles are on a bye week this week. If I'm not
mistaken, I'm gonna go with the Giants. To end it.
I'm gonna go with Steelers, man.
All right, we'll see. All right, thank you everyone out there for watching and listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe.